way, Hall of Famer, champion, Gary Payton here with us. So good to have you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Not just a Hall of Famer, arguably the greatest defensive guard we've ever seen in the game of basketball. I mean, remember they were down 3-0 to the Bulls, and George Karl finally made the decision to put Gary Payton on Michael Jordan, and they won 2 games before losing in 6. People forget that, but I didn't.
Gary, let me ask you this. So now that Toronto's up 2-1, obviously they didn't have KD or Klay. Do you think the Warriors should still be confident?
Oh, yeah. They should be. I mean, what happened yesterday, to me, I don't get that. I don't get the Warriors not playing Klay. I think he could play. I go through any, this is only 4 games left. It's just the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? Let's try it. Let's see how it feels. Let's go out. And yesterday they left it on to Curry, and it wasn't enough. They don't have enough.
But do you really make that call if you think that it potentially could damage him for a game 4, 5, 6? Even do you make that call?
I still make the call. I mean, well, today's era is a little bit different. They're a little softer than what we were. You know what I'm saying? So, I played in the 96 finals with a torn calf muscle. So what? And then guarded Michael Jordan. So it is what it is. It's a little different era. If you can get out there and move around and move good, if you can't, then sit down. You know what I'm saying?
To me, it's like Klay's the type who wants to play.
And
like they had to keep him out. Right? That's why he does. This is his first playoff game he missed.
Well, and that's why I like Klay, because he doesn't sit down. I think he should have stepped up a little bit more and say,
he tried to.
And by the way,
we were there before the game.
By the way, he a free agent. I tell him I wouldn't come back here next year if you don't let me play.
I got you. But he did. They literally had to force him out. Yes.
By the way, where does that mentality come from? Speaking of old school.
It's dad.
His dad. Who's his dad? Who played on the Showtime Lakers.
Yeah.
Right, so knows what it is.
But he still could have played, I think. I don't care. I would have still made that team play me. Just try me out. Let me see what happens. And then if it doesn't work, then let me sit down.
Speaking of which, Kawhi clearly is not playing. His wheels are not 100%. You could see it from and yet he's still, when you look at all the players in this series, who has dog in them, right?
Right.
That's what, to me, makes Kawhi the best player in the game. Both ways. On defense, he's an all-time great. On offense, he still does what he has to do in big moments. If he's hurt or not, no excuses.
Well, and that's what you call a dog, and then that's what you call a different, organization. They're letting Kawhi play. The Toronto letting him play, and I think Golden State is just a little bit more cautious on things. I think they should let these players make their decision. Let the players make their decision.
All right, you feel the way that you feel about Klay. How do you feel about KD's injury and what they should do with KD?
Well, we don't know what the injury is really serious about. We don't know how serious it is. Yeah. We don't know. We don't know if there was a partly tore. They tell you what they want to tell you, and then they do what they want to do. So, but KD is supposed to come back tomorrow, so it's coming back more quickly. But we don't know what the injury was. We don't know what that injury was, so they probably don't want to tear, because they want him to come back here next year. So you don't want him to mess up stuff. So we don't know what that injury was.
Let me transition to Kawhi Leonard, because when I think about, so many people like Doc Rivers talked about some of the things that he does. He never said he was Michael Jordan, but he said that some of the things he did is similar to how Michael Jordan beat you. But when I think about Kawhi, I think about you. Because I think about him as a lockdown defender and how everybody praises him, because that's where he made a name for himself. But he just started scoring more than 20 points a game 2-3 years ago. Right. His real claim to fame is his defensive prowess. That's why he won the MVP in the finals when he was going against Miami and LeBron. He scored over 20 the last 3 games, but it was really his defense against LeBron that he got credit for. What do you think of Kawhi as a defender, and how do you compare him to anybody else in the league on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, I think he's a great defender. I mean, because he's big, he's got a big size to him. I wish I could have had him play in my era where we could put our hands on everybody and do what we can do against it. Because, right now he's defending people the way he should. Tough, aggressive, and he's more stronger than everybody else. As you say, he just started to be a two-way player.
That's right.
He wasn't really like a scorer like that in the beginning, but I like him because he goes and he takes the responsibility of guarding the best player.
That's what I love.
And that's what I love about it too, because it wouldn't be no way that I'll play in these series and don't guard KD or Steph or nobody.
And then he does that, and although his passing is coming along too, because I saw last night, I'm like, come on, Kawhi, you got to have a big game. His shot's not really falling. It's a lot, but still, he's getting to the free throw line, dribble penetration, kicking out to shooters, distributing it. He's taking it upon himself to run the offense. How did you think he ran the offense last night?
I think he did a good job because he wasn't on. And then you know what the Warriors did. The Warriors did what Toronto did to Steph. They were doubling him. And then what did he do? He just took the shots that they allowed him to do. And then when he took them shots, he got fouled. And then when he got fouled, he makes free throws. He doesn't miss free throws. So he was doing what he's supposed to. And then the big guys stepped up. Green and Lowry, they stepped up. Well, see, they wasn't making shots in the last
That's where I'm going, because all five of their guys launched at least double-digit shot attempts. And then, you had 16, 18, 17 points across the board. Gasol had 17. Siakam had 18. Danny Green had 18, except Kyle Lowry, 23. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard, 30. But when I look at Toronto, I think the thing that's going on, notice, they shot 52% from the field. They shot nearly 45% from three-point range. You really counting on them doing that as this series progresses? I'm not.
Me neither. I don't think they can do that all the time, but as you understand, they had a good game.
That's right.
They had a good game, and they had a good game at the right time because all of the Warriors players are hurt. So now let's see if you get KD and you get Klay back, what's going to happen, because them dudes are going to make shots too, and they're going to put pressure on them.
I want to ask you about a player now who I suspect you'll see as a kindred spirit in certain ways, like the way I talked about Kawhi being old school, has that dog in him, and everyone knows Draymond. He saves his best for the biggest moments. Iguodala, to me, has always been the guy who has not gotten enough credit throughout this dynasty. And I don't know if the numbers will prove it or not. Some people say they do. I think they probably don't. But he's one of these dudes where if you watched Iguodala, you knew you were watching a great player. If the game's on the line, he'll hit the open shot. He can distribute, he can handle it, he can get you into your offense, and Lord, can he defend. I just want to hear you speak on Iguodala.
Well, he's a glue. Because he does everything. You see what he did in Game 2. He makes a big shot. And you're right. He doesn't get enough attention. And I think that's why he won the 2015 MVP. Right. What you were saying, though, Steve, that he was the one that locked people down. Right. He did what he did on LeBron and did what he had to do. And you got to understand, he does all the dirty work, too. He goes and picks up the best player. He locks him down. He gets a big steal. He gets the big rebound.
With his leg taped up all the way up. Leg taped up.
I've known you for a few years. You're as real as they get. That's why I'm happy to have you and Steven. I don't know two realer brothers, to be honest with you. I got to ask you this question. I gave Boogie Cousins a lot of love for Game 2.
Right.
I mean, you talk about an embarrassing performance in Game 3. I mean, to be that big, to go into a contract year, to go 1 of 7 from the field, to have 4 points, score 1 field goal against Gasol and Ibaka, who are not scrubs, because Ibaka has 6 blocks now. I want to know if that was your teammate. Knowing how last night's game was important because you didn't have Klay and you didn't have KD, I want to know what Gary Payton would have said to Boogie Cousins after a 1 for 7 performance in nearly 20 minutes against Toronto.
Well, I would have been hollering at him from day one. You know what I'm saying? I would have been trying to motivate him from day one. I still think, Stephen, that he's not ready. I don't think he's ready to be in this game anyway because his body is not there. You know what I'm saying? You can't sit out as a big man like that for months and months and be ready to play in 3 and 4 games. He's not ready to me. But I would have tried to motivate him more. I would have been cussing him. I would have been doing everything I had to do it.
That's what I'm saying.
And then after the game, I would have been like, yo, I would have took the stat sheet over here and said, man, look, this ain't you, man. This one you want to do better than this, and you want to do it on game 4.
I don't blame Boogie for this because when you come out of a catastrophic injury and then you re-injure yourself and you're in and out of the lineup, the fact that's why I thought they were going to lose. Right. Because I don't think Boogie is at a place realistically where you can. I thought he was the player of the game in game 2.
Yeah.
Both ends of the floor, he's great.
I'm going to save my answer. I'm going to save my response to both of y'all about Boogie Cousins after the commercial break. Let's go to commercial. I got something to say. I don't buy that. No. I ain't letting that go. Come on,
DP. When we come back from Oakland, Steph Curry puts on a show but can't get the win. How impressed should we be with the chefs cooking last night? And should Warrior fans just accept the Raptors are better than the defending champs? Don't go anywhere.
It's a city where they never rest. Yeah, hey, take a trip and watch you benefit. Money mission, know I've been a vet. I'm on